The call came on a rainless Wednesday afternoon. I'd just filed my report on a routine embezzlement case when the chief handed me a brown envelope marked Emerald Crest Hotel, Missing Persons, X3. Inside were 3 names, 3 photos, and a pattern that made my stomach tighten. I'd heard of the Emerald Crest before: clean facade, marble lobby, polite staff, a mid-range oasis off the highway where nothing exciting ever happened. That's why the file felt wrong. 3 disappearances, all inside the same hotel, over 3 years, none resolved, and not a single trace of foul play. I was assigned to reopen the file. Fresh eyes, they said. I wasn't sure if it was faith in my instincts or just that everyone else had given up. The Emerald Crest rose out of the industrial outskirts like a misplaced piece of glass. 4 stories, tinted windows, trimmed hedges, too perfect to be innocent. Inside, the air smelled faintly of lemon polish and recirculated confidence. The lobby manager, a thin man named Clarke, met me at the desk. His smile stopped at his teeth. "Detective, of course. You're here about the incidents." "Disappearances," I corrected. He nodded too quickly. "We've cooperated fully before. I'll get you the master key in our archives." As he led me past the concierge desk, I felt eyes from staff and guests. The air shifted when I passed. Quiet recognition, or superstition? Maybe both. There were 3 of them. Miriam Cole, 32, marketing consultant. Checked into room 421, disappeared August 2018. Dr. Ravi Singh, 45, visiting lecturer. Disappeared March 2019, last seen in the hotel restaurant. Sarah Okoro, 27, grad student. Last seen in October 2020, in room 324. All vanished from inside the building. No forced entry, no signs of struggle, no trace of surveillance. The file was thick with unanswered questions, thinner on logic. I started with room 324, Sarah's. Clarke unlocked it reluctantly, muttering about disturbing bad luck. The room was spotless now, stripped of personality, a new guest's perfume clinging faintly to the air. Still, I could see her there. The way she'd left her phone by the bed, her shoes lying neatly near the door. I crouched by the carpet near the desk, barely visible, but the edge of the skirting board had been resealed. Too fresh. Renovations? I asked. Routine maintenance, Clarke said. His voice rose at the end, like a question. Routine maintenance doesn't usually involve replacing baseboards. The security room was small, windowless, and smelled of burnt coffee. A young guard, Carter, handled the cameras. I asked to see the night Sarah vanished. He scrolled through endless footage of empty corridors. Then came the gap, 1:30 to 2:25 a.m., the hallway camera outside 324 flickered to black. Technical glitch, Carter offered. Every missing guest's floor had a glitch, I said. He froze. He hadn't checked that. When the feed resumed, a shadow crossed the far end of the hall, no face, no features, just motion. The timestamp jumped forward 12 seconds without explanation. I replayed it 3 times. The shadow came from the service corridor, the one only staff could access. Old hotels are like people. They hide things behind cosmetic smiles. Blueprints from city archives showed the crest had once been connected to a disused utility tunnel, built decades earlier when the property was a textile warehouse. The tunnel supposedly sealed after renovations. Supposedly. I asked maintenance for the key to the sublevel. "We don't use it anymore," said the engineer, shifting his weight. His badge read K. Daniels. He avoided my eyes. "Most of it's flooded." "Show me anyway," I said. The basement access was behind the laundry chute, an iron door bolted with 2 locks. When Daniels pried it open, a damp breath of air crawled out. The corridor descended into darkness, concrete sweating under dim emergency bulbs. Pipes ran along the ceiling like veins. "Here," he said, stopping where a wall had been crudely sealed with bricks. "Past this, it's all shut down." "Since when?" "Early 2000s, I think. Before my time." But the cement wasn't old. It was pale, still flaked clean when I tapped it. I'd seen enough sealed rooms to know the difference. I came back that night alone, after convincing Clarke I was done for the day. I told the front desk I'd left my notebook downstairs. Basement doors were easy. Locks can be persuaded. Inside, the silence was almost tangible, thick and patient. I followed the damp corridor, flashlight cutting through the dark, until it hit the wall Daniels showed me. I pressed my ear against the brick. Nothing at first. Then, faint air movement, the kind of hollow space exhales. Someone had sealed this recently, but not perfectly. I used the crowbar I'd borrowed from maintenance. The bricks gave way with dull cracks. Behind them, a narrow shaft leading to another corridor, the concrete dry, dust undisturbed except for one thing, a drag mark, like something heavy pulled along the floor. The passage opened into a forgotten wing, unfinished walls, broken light fixtures, and 3 doors labeled only with hand-painted numbers, 1, 2, 3. Door 1 creaked open easily. Inside, a small, windowless room. Stained mattress. No furnishings. Door 2, same design, same cold emptiness. Door 3 was padlocked. I smashed it open. It was a room of shadows and metal, an old service elevator shaft, its cage locked halfway between floors. In the corner, something caught the beam of my flashlight, a woman's heel, caked in dust. I picked it up. The brand matched what Sarah's roommate listed in her missing persons inventory. Above me, the elevator's metal groaned faintly. Someone was still using it. I retreated quietly and returned to the lobby. Clarke wasn't there. Carter was nervously tapping on his keyboard. "Who's authorized to use the service elevator after hours?" I asked. He hesitated. "Only management. Or Daniels, for maintenance." I looked at the time. 1:05 a.m. Is Daniels on shift? "No, sir." Check. Carter's fingers trembled over the keys. "Someone just activated it. Basement to floor 4. I drew my gun and took the service stairs 2 at a time. The corridor was dim, lights flickering like nervous eyes. I reached the service elevator door as it opened with a groan. Daniels stepped out, his uniform smeared with dust. His expression froze when he saw the gun. "Detective," he said. "You shouldn't be down here." "Neither should you." He sighed, dropped the small flashlight in his hand. "You don't understand. They told me to keep it sealed." "Who's they?" "The management." "Clarke," he said. "It was for safety. The rooms below," he stopped himself. "You've already seen them, haven't you? Tell me what's behind that wall, Daniels." He swallowed. "Old storage, at first. But years ago, a leak damaged part of the foundation. We were told to convert some of it into overflow rooms for renovation guests. Unlicensed, off the books. When one collapsed, we sealed the rest. But," he hesitated, eyes glassy. "Clarke started using them again." "For what?" Daniel's face paled. "To get rid of the noise." I didn't speak. I let him. He told me Clarke had a side arrangement with a private contractor, men who dealt with problems. Drunks, belligerent guests, people who drew complaints. Instead of calling the police, they were relocated. The basement rooms became holding cells, temporary, Clarke had said, until they could be handled. But one night, a guest, Miriam Cole, saw something she shouldn't have, staff dragging a man through the service corridor. She confronted Clarke. She vanished the same night. Dr. Singh disappeared months later after discovering a similar rumor. Then Sarah, young, curious, with a habit of asking staff too many questions about the haunted floors. Clarke's solution was always the same: erase them, clean the rooms. The sealed wall was their grave. We went back down together. Daniels shaking, me leading. He unlocked the maintenance gate behind the elevator shaft. The tunnel reeked of rot and mildew. 30 feet in, the passage widened into a larger chamber. The flashlight beams found shapes on the ground, plastic sheeting, tattered clothing, and the unmistakable curve of human bone. 3 skeletons, half buried in dust and plaster. One still wore a silver bracelet. I'd seen it in Sarah's missing persons photo. Clarke didn't resist arrest. He was in his office when we found him, sipping brandy like he'd been expecting me. "I wondered how long it would take," he said calmly, standing to straighten his tie. "You think you've solved it. But you've only scratched the surface. You buried 3 people under your hotel." He smiled. "Buried? No. I recycled them." I didn't want to know what that meant, but he told me anyway. About the contractors, the payoff, the quiet removals. How hotels thrive on comfort, on the illusion that nothing bad ever happens inside their walls. He said people pay for the silence as much as the sheets. The next morning, the Crest was cordoned off. Forensics filled the lobby, reporters crowded the driveway. Clarke confessed fully, dragging Daniels down with him. They'd used the sublevel for years, silencing anyone who threatened to expose the hotel's secondary business, illegally renting rooms to clients who wanted complete anonymity, the kind that never shows up in records. When a guest saw something, heard something, they were simply erased. It took 3 years, but now we had names, remains, and proof. The Emerald Crest was shut down, pending demolition. Still, I went back once, months later, when the property was being stripped. The air was stale, the carpet peeled back. The service elevator cage hung open like a gaping mouth. In room 324, I stood before the mirror. Someone had written a message beneath the grime, faint but visible under the dust: "Still here." I turned toward the door. The elevator groaned again, somewhere below, metal shifting in the silence. It shouldn't have been running.